family, work. You don't have time for hobbies. Like, shut it off.
My life was off balance.
In order for me to feel balanced and to feel like I have everything under control, I need to be right in here.
All your chakras have to be
yes, journaling my thoughts.
Singing, making music. All that is like a form of checking in with yourself.
Like, how's your mental health?
More panics and more anxiety, even depression. Like, it's just not healthy.
That's why it's so good to have someone else by your side tell you, hey girl, did you check in with yourself today?
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I'm really lucky to have you.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Welcome back to Sister to Sister.
This episode, we are talking about balance.
Yes, balance. All things balance. All the categories it brings. Work-life balance, emotional balance, spiritual, physical. Yeah, so let's get into it. When I think about balance, I just think about having everything together. Like, balance to me is just having everything together. But
like a balanced life.
Yeah, like everything's in order.
I'm like thinking differently.
Wait, how are you thinking?
I guess when I think of balance, I'm like, okay, so everything's in order in every aspect of your life. Like relationships, friendships, romantic relationship.
Right.
Family.
That's exactly how I think about it.
Okay. And then like your work relationship.
Yeah, like everything's aligned, everything's right. I feel like that's impossible though. I don't think I've ever reached that level of balance where everything is going smoothly. I feel like something's always
off balance. Like nothing's equal.
Yeah, because if you think about it, you're always growing. So how can stuff be stagnant in balance all the time?
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say, I was like, can everything be equal?
Yeah. So it's like, I feel like it reminds me of what's Michelle Obama's book called? What is that? What's
Becoming?
the book? Is it Becoming? No, the recent one. She did a little special with Oprah.
Yeah. I didn't.
On Netflix.
I forgot what it's called.
Something light. I don't know what it is, but she had it. She was talking to Oprah, and she said, "You're never gonna have everything at the same time."
Yeah.
And when she said that, I was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
It just
like
sucks,
your life,
you know?
You can mold your life to what you want it to be. And don't get me wrong, like there could be a lot of people who have everything at the same time, right? But ordinarily,
do people really Do people
I don't know.
really?
I don't know.
I feel
everybody.
like nobody really has it all together, even in one day out of their life.
There's always something, right? Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like there's always something something at any point in your life is going to be off.
Right. I don't know. It has me thinking about.
You did this. Like you got your hair.
I know. But it does kind of seem like. Anyway. Yeah, so balance. I feel like there's a lot of categories, a lot of things we think balance is and what it isn't, and what we feel when we get to balance. What do we feel when we get to balance? Like, as far as...
Have I ever gotten there is the question.
And, like, what would you imagine balance feeling like?
Ooh.
You know? Like, because what if you have everything balanced right now, but you're so anxious for the future that, like...
Why are you anxious if you have everything balanced? Like, what are you anxious about? If everything's great, like, what are you worried about?
I feel like some people don't know how to just be. Yeah. They're always trying to get to the next thing. You know what I mean? Which is good.
Okay, yeah.
And it's always good to, like, have ambition and to go after what you're going after. But when do you finally feel the balance and feel present in the balance? Like, what if you're really in the balance and you don't even know it? You know what I mean? What really is it with, like, everyone has their own definition. But when you do feel out of balance, how do you get back to being balanced? Do you have anything that you would do? Maybe like a me time, maybe like a spiritual time with God, or like just hanging out with your girls.
I guess it depends on like what is off balance at
That's
the time.
true.
But so I guess first, okay, when do I feel balanced and how does that feel like? I guess it feels like everything's like in its place, like me thinking as someone who likes to organize at times.
Yeah.
Or for most times, I guess. I just think about like, okay, well, that's good. That I called my grandma today. Oh, I, made sure the house was clean, cleaned up my room, did my laundry. Okay, I, went to all my meetings today at work, and today was a great day. And then, this weekend I have plans with my girls, so I'll go out with them. And then, I have a date on Sunday, or, stuff like that. Like, that's like a balanced life to me.
Okay.
But then when it comes down to...
So you're saying you've reached your balance. Is that what you're saying?
No. I don't always feel balanced, no. I feel like something's always off. But when I do feel like everything's balanced, that's my ideal balanced life. And that's what it would look like. Like, everything is... I checked everything off. Even if it's, like, not for that week. If I had a girls' night the week before... Okay, this week I'll focus on, like, me, and I don't know, I feel like I don't really have a balanced life all the time.
I feel like I have balanced days.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get to a point where my whole life is like, balanced.
But I don't think that's possible. Like, what do you mean? Like multiple days in a row?
It's like multiple days, and then some days, and then some days not.
Maybe not days, maybe, like, multiple months, okay? Because, like, maybe multiple days is, like, easy to achieve.
Yeah,
but, like, multiple months would be great out of the year. Instead of having it, like, okay, these 2 months were great, it would be nice to have, a balanced at least month. 8 out of the 12 months, it was nice. Or at least 11, you know? Yeah. Can I just have one bad month, not, like, 5 bad months out of the year?
Oh, my gosh. Has that happened? Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh.
But it would be cool if it's, like, okay, maybe one day was off that month. I'm not going to, like, count that as the whole month being off balance. Like, that's, like, to the extreme. Yeah. But, like, it could be to the extreme depending on what event happened. Like, how big was that thing that threw you off balance? But I guess, okay, that's how I would feel balanced. Okay. And I guess, there are moments where I feel that. There are days where I feel that, I should say. Or even weeks where I feel like, oh, this is a great week. Like, everything worked out great.
Yeah.
But I feel like lately there's always been, like, one thing that's been, like...
Off-putting, off balance.
Yeah, like, once you achieve one thing and you feel like, oh, my God, I finally got that one thing that I thought was the reason my life was off balance. Now I got it, but dang, that wasn't the only thing that was off balance. That's just the first thing that I went after first. I still got to check off this thing, this little box that's not all together yet. Mm-hmm.
I feel like... I get what you're saying.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if this makes sense. But.
I also think it's what needs our attention in that moment. Yeah. It's like when you're off balance, I think that means you have to zone in an area of your life real quick so you can get back to, like, feeling balanced again. Does that make sense?
I guess so, yeah.
So it's...
Yeah, like, after a breakup, you're like, okay, I really need to go to the gym. I really need to make sure that my life is in order. Like, what is my career? Do I have my,
do
job
some,
right?
Like, self-introspection and just self-assess and, like, draw it back. And not even with that. It could also be with, okay, I know that I've been really hanging out with my girls. Maybe I should put that energy towards, like, a hobby, I don't know, instead, and, like, really maybe develop some stuff that you wanted to develop.
Yeah, like, maybe I need to do Duolingo more, or maybe I need to read this book I've been trying to read for the past 2 months.
And I feel like that would be a really good way to just get back on balance. Yeah. Because I think that whenever we feel off balance, I feel like I'm saying balance too much. But whenever we feel like we lost a sense of control, in a way, I think the only way that I can regain control is aligning spiritually, mentally, and then physically. Like I feel like when I feel out of balance, I feel like something's not right in here. Not like externally. In order for me to feel balanced and to feel like I have everything under control, I need to be right in here.
All your chakras have to be aligned.
Yes, I have to be aligned. Otherwise, I just don't feel right. I don't feel good. And because, I don't know, the more I handle things internally, the better the physical world is around me. And that's what balance is to me. Because life is going to life. Things are going to happen. And it's like, you're never going to feel completely balanced. I really don't think you can.
I think it's a constant practice to make sure that you are okay.
Yeah.
Like checking in with yourself, because obviously you have no control over life, but you do have control over like your emotions and like your body and your health to an extent. But yeah, I feel like
control
for me,
what you can control.
Yeah.
Once you do that, balance just comes.
Yeah. I feel like for me, when I try to get back into that like balanced life, I do like read more. I want to read a book, and I want to make sure that like my mind, like I don't know what it is, but it's something about like when you read a book, you're like in a different world. It's different from when you're watching a movie.
It's an escape.
But it's different when you're watching a movie, you're like watching a movie. Like when you're reading a book though, you're really like thinking
in the minds of these characters.
Yeah, and then you're like, dang, like would I do that? I would act the same way, and like oh my gosh, I become that character when I'm reading the book. So I feel like when I do that, it takes me into this like, especially when it's fiction, it takes me into this world of like my imagination again, I guess, like expands, and it just makes me feel like I'm a kid again. So I think maybe finding those things like hobbies and like things that help you practice being more imaginative and just like stepping outside of your world. But like movies too do help. Going to the movies, especially like the movie theater, it really helps. But,
so would you say maintaining balance? Oh, I guess you did say that. You were saying, go ahead.
But also like doing yoga. Yeah. Like working out, being a part of nature. Like I love the beach, swimming. Like being a Pisces, like being in the water.
Nature is actually known to do that. Nature is actually known to.
Yeah, it's supposed
so that you
to
feel
like
balanced and you feel in touch with. The outside world.
Yeah, it's supposed to ground you. Yeah. Because like, okay, you're a small human being in this world. You're a small living thing in this world, and like there's nature all around you. There's abundance all around you. Like it's not just you. But yeah, I think those things help me. Like a bath, a nice bath. Like I said, being a Pisces, like the water, anything with water helps. Yeah.
I've had a really difficult time with trying to maintain that me time when you're feeling out of balance because of my son. Like it's a little harder to. So I have to find these little windows and little pockets of solitude to do that. And it can get so hard sometimes. Like so difficult.
So do you find it hard to like when he's napping to like find moments then?
Yeah, because I'm trying to get other things done. So it's like, it is so difficult. Yeah. That's a balance that I'm still trying to figure out. Like, it's starting to feel like I have to plan it, like, weeks in advance. Like, a week in advance. Like, this week is supposed to be when he's asleep or when he's doing his thing, I'm not going to have time to do it this week, but next week, make time for it. Make that be a priority on the list. So I think every week I'm having different priority changes because of something that either came up that week or something that needs my attention more. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. It's a crazy world of trying to categorize your life and making sure that every category is balanced, and it's very difficult. But like at the end of the day, I think it's just a process, and I think that we all grow into it. I think that's what achieving balance really is, that you may not have everything in control, but you're okay with what is in control. And I think that overall, everyone has their different levels of what they think balance is and what speaks to them when it comes down to what they can control and what they can't control. And because everyone's circumstances and experiences are different.
When it comes to work, I feel like that can be hard sometimes. Sometimes for me, but I'm sure for like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Which is why they always stress when I go to, whenever I go to work and there's like big meetings for everyone to like check in with their mental health. Mm-hmm. They're like, okay, you guys make sure that we have a work-life balance. Like when I worked at Google, it was like, we're going to make sure that we, take off this day for a mental health day. We're not going to have that many meetings. And they did that, like, I don't know if it was, like, once a month, but it was often for me to be like, whoa, people do this? But not every workplace does that. But I feel like they should.
They need to do that in the entertainment industry for real.
I guess because it's, like, different with film and TV because you know that you only have 6 months to make this film or TV show or whatever. So I feel like maybe that's why. They're like, okay, you already have a break 6 months from now.
Yeah.
So that's your time to use for yourself. But right now it's like go, 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 go. But even with that, you still have to make sure that you find the balance with working 10-hour, 12-hour, 13-hour days, 5 days a week. Like, you still have to make time for yourself at some point. Even if it's just like
that's when the balance comes in. Yeah.
Somebody told, I don't know what talk show it was. I don't know if it was The View or The Real or when that was on TV or
I missed The Real. That was so good.
It was a good show. I don't know what show it was, but someone was like, yeah, like I do so much and I'm always going that when I'm getting dressed or waking up at 4 a.m., going to the studio, and when I get into my room, why can't I think of it?
Dressing room?
When I get into my dressing room, that's the time I'm like, okay, no one's here yet. I'm going to meditate for like 10 minutes and just like make sure I'm good. Check in with myself. Because meditating, you really do check in with yourself. You really have to tune out everything and just be there with yourself and your thoughts and try not to think so much at the same time. But if you have those thoughts, make sure that you don't like think too much about it. You just kind of, you're supposed to like let it float by.
Yeah.
But acknowledge it, but like let it float by.
It's like you making sure you have that relationship with yourself.
Yeah, like
and
knowing,
having that awareness. So when you get into conversations, you're like, okay, I checked in with myself this morning. I know how I'm feeling about it. So I'm just going to like step back. Or I told myself that I was going to do this today. So I'm going to like step forward. Yeah. And it's like, it really progresses your day in a way where you want it.
Yeah, especially in the mornings.
Yeah. In some ways, that is like kind of gaining control back if you feel like, you feel like you don't have that control. So
especially when you consume so much every day, like when you're at work, you're technically consuming things,
and you don't even realize it because it's like autopilot.
Yeah, you're on Instagram, you're on TikTok, you're consuming
all these things you're exposed to.
Yeah.
And it's like, shut it off. She
said this, he said that. I'm like, okay, what do I really think? I don't know, because I don't have the time to go check in with myself.
But that's why journaling could be really, really helpful. Yeah. That's what I found helpful too. Journaling my thoughts, it made me see me for who I really am, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you really look at your journal and just look back at it. Say you look back from years ago or yesterday, you're like, that's crazy I had that thought, or dang, that's how I viewed life, or that's how I viewed myself, or that's how I viewed the situation.
I still view it that way.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to fix that.
Yeah. Like, it helps with growth. It really does.
And then also
you get to see how you change too. It's cool.
I was gonna say also like journaling, poetry, but singing, making music, and like writing your thoughts out, writing melodies. The melodies is like a part of you expressing your thoughts too.
Yeah.
Not just the words. So it's like all that is like a form of expressing yourself and like letting loose and checking in with yourself and like making sure that you're back
good. Yeah.
on track with things.
That's why hobbies and like passions and things of that nature is just so important.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know anyone who like, I've never asked anyone like, what's your favorite hobby? And they say, I don't have any, you know? Like, it would be sad.
There's always something.
I don't know if there's anyone out there that doesn't have a hobby,
I know,
but like,
don't people sometimes
sucks.
like bullshit that too? Like, you don't want to be the person that says, I don't have any hobbies. So if that person doesn't have any hobbies, he probably would still say, tennis. I don't know. Like,
I mean, like, honestly, like,
I haven't met anybody who said
hobby.
that.
I know, I haven't met, yeah. But I don't think anyone would just come out and say, I don't have hobbies. I think when you start to, like, be with that person and around that person and you see, like, dang, you don't really be doing nothing. Like, that's how you know.
And then they probably realize, dang, I don't have any hobbies. Because think about it. Like, think if you're, like, family, work, you don't have time for hobbies.
Yeah. That's why people are like, get a life. Get a hobby. Because you about business too much. Okay, back up, back off.
Or you're in your business too much and you need to just relax. Yeah. Balance is such a process. And I think that we all do it differently. We all think about it differently. Yeah. And we all achieve it in different ways. I think the main thing is to just check in with yourself. Yeah. Have that conversation with yourself. So you're more aware of maybe what needs your focus and what doesn't need your focus in.
It's so hard.
Yeah, it is. But like, making that time for it, it'll really help you with growth. It'll help with things that you didn't even know you need help with. Yeah. To be honest. But yeah, I think that concludes this episode.
Oh my god. That was so short.
Didn't it? I hope we said some really good things.
I know, me too.
I'm glad we talked about this because this is something that I actually really needed to talk about.
I feel like I also just need to check in with myself more because I haven't been lately. And I think that can cause just more stress, more panics, and more anxiety, even depression. Like, it's just not healthy sometimes, or most times, it's just not healthy.
That's why it's so good to have someone else, like, by your side, tell you, hey, girl, did you check in with yourself today?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that's why I'm really lucky to have you as my sister, or just sisters in general.
I know, because
you can really talk to, like, your best friend about what's going on, and if like, that sister or that friend, because, sisters can mean anything. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to just be blood. But that sister or that friend sees something in you that you may not see in yourself. That, hey, girl, I see that you're really talking about this. Are you okay? Are you mentally good? Like, or, hey, you haven't even been communicating with me like you used to. Like, how's everything going with your mental health? Because, like, do we really ask that? Like, how's your mental health?
Yeah, I feel like we don't ask that enough, even in friendships.
We're just like, how are you? Yeah. But I feel like we need to be more specific with each other.
Yeah, like, don't ask how are you.
Yeah.
Just people automatically are trained at this point to just say, I'm good.
I'm good. Because they don't want to be like, dumping their problems on somebody. Yeah. But if they're genuinely asking you, that's why it's good to phrase it like, how is your mental health? Or don't say it like that, because sometimes people will be like, you coming at them sideways.
And then that can also trigger. But sometimes when you ask that, like, well, you do a good job at, like, asking me, how are you? But when you do it, it's not like, how are you? Where I should reply, like, I'm good. It's more of like a, how are you? Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And then that, like, helps me to be like, oh, okay, I can, like, talk about something to her right now and not have, like, sometimes I just get in the mode of, like, okay, I just have to, like, suppress my feelings right now and, like, be strong and, like, keep pushing and not worry or stress out so much. I've seen moments
like that, yeah.
I don't really, like, try to. So technically when people when you ask me, like, are you okay? I'm like, dang, I'm not even checking it with myself. So when you check in, it's like, oh, okay, so maybe that's a sign I should check in with myself. So then I could tell you why I feel the way that I feel right now. Like, I don't know.
That makes sense, though. It is one of those things where you're projecting these emotions and you don't even know where they're coming from because you haven't checked in with yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to have your circle of people that you can't notice about yourself. They notice things you don't.
Yeah.
And
or sometimes, like, it's not like you don't, like you said, they notice things you don't. It's not that you don't notice them. It's just that you can't notice them right now. Because, like, you can notice them. But, like, okay, maybe I'm using the wrong word. Okay, so it's not like you can't. It's not like you don't notice them. It's just like you haven't taken the time to check in. Because you know it's there. You know, oh my God, that person at work.
Kind of saying the same thing.
No, I'm not there. Look. Okay, so that person at work just pissed me off. But okay, I gotta go make me some lunch. Now you see me making lunch, right? And you like, are you okay? And it's like, I gotta push through, make this lunch so I can head to that next meeting. Gotta go walk this dog after, and da-da-da-da-da. But then you're saying, okay, by asking, like, are you okay? You make space and time for me to reply. So, like, if you don't do that, then I'm not going to make the space or time for myself because I'm rushing to do something else.
That's so interesting.
Like, you know?
I know.
Okay. I was like,
and it's so weird because I had a feeling that was what it was. Okay, growing up.
Oh my God.
Growing up, I wouldn't understand why you were projecting a certain emotion, and I would always feel like it was me. I would always feel like, oh, I must have did something wrong, or I must have, like, caused something, or what is wrong with me? Like, you know? And taking a step back made me realize, okay, maybe I should change up how I communicate. And maybe I shouldn't think that it's me. Maybe I should think that she needs space, or it's something that she may be having to deal with that I don't know about. Like, instead of it always being about me, like, let me communicate this way and see if I get a different result. So.
I see. I feel like you also just, like, talk a lot about your emotions.
I do.
So not everyone, but, like,
I'm very open with.
Yeah, like, you share your worries. I don't really share mine as much until I'm asked. Okay. So I think because you share yours, you're expecting other people to share theirs, just like you do.
Yeah, but I think that's what it is. And growing up, I felt that way too. I'm like, well, what's wrong? Like, this is how it's supposed to be. There is no right way.
It's just different ways that people handle things. Yeah, that's true.
I don't even know if this has to do with balance or just sister talk. I don't know, but whatever.
It ended up being in the podcast anyway.
Yeah.
In the talk. We were concluding it and then we stopped.
How can we tie all of that in together?
I mean, that's a good form of communicating, and sometimes you need people in your village, in your circle, to check in with you to make sure that you're balanced. Okay? I just concluded it.
I like that. That was like a little bow. I like that.
Oh, no, I did it, but I did it.
You did it.
Okay.
You did it. You did it.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Yes, we had a really good time filming it and talking about balance. And we hope you guys stay tuned on the next episode.
Yes, and make sure you check in with yourself and make sure you check in with your friends and family, people that you love, and all that.
Balancing in general is just a process. And once we really understand that, we can grow and we can grow for better. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.